The South Asian subcontinent is one of enormous potential. This important region of over 1.5 billion people, including 40% of the world's poor, is often overlooked or viewed primarily through the lens of the challenges in Afghanistan and Pakistan. But the rest of South Asia is more significant than the attention it receives would suggest. India recently surpassed China as the world's fastest growing large economy, and the region is looking to enhance trade connectivity to boost growth. On the other hand, South Asia still faces major development challenges, including weak governance, corruption, and threats from violent extremism. We will hear from the administration witnesses today on its efforts in these areas. Given China's interest in building influence in the region, I'd also like to hear about the administration's work to maintain relevancy in South Asia. This hearing will focus on the fiscal year 2017 State Department and U.S. Agency for International Development budget requests for the South Asia region. I look forward to hearing from the panel about how we're going to boost U.S. presence in this important region. India is undoubtedly a very important partner for the United States. We have many interests in India, including facilitating India's membership in APEC, which I've spoken about many times and checked in with you guys about, ongoing BIT negotiations, and strengthening defense and security agreements. But 20% of India's population lives in extreme poverty, with 1/4 of the total population completely off the electric grid. If India is to realize its leading role in the region, it must facilitate reforms to create opportunities and better lives for its own people. How are we assisting the Indian government and leveraging the private sector to improve the conditions of the people of India? India is clearly a priority for the administration, but what progress is now being made? This committee has concerns about antiquated protectionist policies that hold back India's full growth potential and hurt U.S. companies. Restrictions on market access, including direct retail sales, weak intellectual property protection, and the time required to resolve contract disputes are among the top concerns for U.S. businesses. Prime Minister Modi has made economic reform a centerpiece in his administration, and I'm very pleased that he has. What are we doing to help spur the Indian government in the much-needed opening of India's economy? Sri Lanka's new government has been touted as more American-leaning than the prior administration, but more work lies ahead. The FY 2017 budget request for Sri Lanka is a tenfold increase from previous years, now at $39.8 million. How will such an increase in funding work toward bolstering democratic change and strengthening civil society organizations? Many successful efforts in South Asia are transferable between countries. How are we ensuring adequate transfer of successful programs to leverage resources efficiently? Nepal faced a devastating earthquake last year, and the House responded with a resolution that myself, along with Ranking Member Sherman, put forward. We stood with Nepal, and my state of Arizona even lost one of our finest in the efforts to search and rescue, and we continue to assist in rebuilding. This year's budget calls for an increase of $8.3 million for Nepal for continued relief efforts. Please update us on these efforts in Nepal, including time frame and the outlook to completion. Bangladesh receives the largest amount of U.S. development assistance and global funding in the region. Bangladesh is considered a moderate Muslim country, receives the most attention for counterterrorism efforts, yet continues to struggle. Since 2013, several bloggers and international activists have been brutally killed, 6 in the past 12 months alone. I offer my deepest condolences to the family and friends of USAID employee and local human rights activist who was brutally murdered just a few short weeks ago. Bangladesh also continues to struggle with democratic governance, the rule of law, and corruption. The request for assistance to Bangladesh reflects an increase of $13.5 million. I'd also ask the panel to discuss overall assistance to Bangladesh as it results to countering violent extremism and providing for further freedom of expression without violent recourse. I also want to understand what specific programs are we putting in place to meet these challenges. Finally, The Maldives, the smallest nation in the region, has shown a worrying deterioration of its democracy, as well as concerning percentage of its population traveling to the Middle East as foreign fighters. South Asia is an increasing important region of the world. It is ripe with opportunity, yet held back by corruption, weak governance, and danger of extremism. With our oversight hearing today, we'll be discussing diplomacy and foreign assistance in South Asia, including progress made over the past year. The United States should also look at how to best connect South Asia to the Asia Pacific. Integration that will be vital to facilitating South Asia's potential. I look forward to the discussion not only on what was accomplished last year, but what we accomplish next year.